Hi, everybody, and welcome to Unlock Your Hidden Potential. I'm your host, Nikki Gangemi, and I'm super excited to have PJ Dixon with us today. Hi, PJ.
Hey, how are you, love? Good to see
I'm
you.
great. How are you?
Super duper fabulous and super glad to be here with all of your beautiful audience.
Excellent. I'm so excited. So we're going to get started right away. So PJ Dixon is a lifelong motivational speaker and international life, love, and relationship coach who focuses on results. Despite his disability, which was expected to take his life by 7, he chose to live and live well. PJ truly enjoys an extraordinary life: sailing, outdoor skydiving, indoor skydiving, trapezing, ziplining, hiking, mountain climbing, snow skiing, water skiing, aqua jetpacking, and the list goes on. He's a former wheelchair athlete, international traveler, amateur watercolorist, and founder of 2 nonprofit organizations and 4 disabled sports programs. A published author, 10th degree black belt, martial arts and women's self-defense instructor, and a meditation teacher. Additionally, PJ has been inducted into the National Hall of Fame for people with disabilities and was nominated to carry the Olympic torch through Tucson in 2002. So welcome, PJ.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I always say this, it's the craziest thing. Like, I've been speaking since I was 7, but when I hear people read my bio now, I'm like, wow, I've kind of done a lot. That's pretty cool. I was only supposed to live until I was 7. I've lived 41 years longer than I was expected to. So I've had an amazing life.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
and that's what we're going to talk about today. Yes, we're going to talk about creating the mind of a manifester. So PJ, what is manifesting?
So manifesting really is the communication between you, your heart and the soul, and your soul, and the universe. And I'm going to probably be spiritual during our conversation because that's really the foundation of who I am and what I believe that we all are. Mm-hmm. And so if everything in the universe is made of energy, the rock outside of your house is energy, right? Your physical body is energy. The tree is energy. The wind is energy. Our conversation is energy. If everything is energy, then energy in and of itself is pure potential. Mm-hmm. And so manifesting is this way of communicating with that energy and allowing that energy to resonate with what it is that you want. Because if we look at energy in one, energy relates to other energy in 1 of 3 ways. Okay, I get excited, right? So I'm gonna back up because I gotta move. I can't just sit static. I have a serious curvature in my spine, and so you can see how my back kind of sags a little bit when I'm not, like, I don't have my shoulder blades hooked to my chair, but when my shoulder blades are hooked to my chair, I'm very, like, static and rigid. So I feel like I gotta move. I gotta talk. All right, so if we look at energy, right? If everything in the universe is energy, and what is manifesting? Manifesting is a way of communicating with this energy and interacting with this energy, because all energy interacts with other energy in 1 of 3 ways. Energy either harmonizes with other energy, like if you, okay, I'll go through the 3. Energy harmonizes with energy, okay? Energy clashes or resists, which is basically the same thing with other energy, or energy neutralizes energy. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so if we go back to harmonizing, if you're playing the piano and you play a C note and I strum a C note on a guitar, they're going to harmonize. Mm-hmm. If there's 2 guitars in the same room and you strum a guitar that actually is tuned if there are 2 guitars that are tuned similarly in the same room and you strum one guitar, the other guitar's strings will also vibrate slightly.
Really?
What is that? Yes. They're not physically connected, but there is movement. Why? Because energy influences other energy and it wants to harmonize. This is the most important piece about manifesting, is that whatever your highest level of energy is, that's why I had to, like, drop my spine so I can move around a little bit so I could bring the energy, because this is, when you have this higher level of energy, you're putting out what I call more energy points, right? So what you're putting out, and the more energy units or energy points, however you want to say it, the more you put out, the more high level energy you have, the more that is the dominant force, the dominant energy that goes out. And then that means whatever is out there goes, oh wow, that's my energy, that's my tribe of vibration, that's where I'm going to go, and it gets in tune with. And so the energy starts of that that's outside of you. Whatever you're putting out, it begins to find other energy like that. It creates this contagious effect. So other people's energy levels come up, or you find people that think and act like you, or things come into your mind. So there's a little bit of research, and I'm gonna go through the other 2 in just a sec. There's a little bit of research that has been done on luck. And when we take people that believe that they're unlucky, I'm just unlucky. Nothing ever good happens to me. I never have the opportunities like other people do. Everything is terrible. You can put money on the ground and they'll walk right over it. They won't see it. You
Really?
can put a big billboard sign on the back of a truck with their picture that says, hey, congratulations, you won A, B, and C, right? And they don't see it. But then you take the same dollar bill or the same money and put it on the ground, and you take the same sign with a different person's picture, and this person happens to be somebody who believes that they're lucky. They're like, oh my God, I'm the luckiest person in the world. Good things happen to me all the time. I always have amazing opportunities, meet great people. I'm always finding money. It's amazing. Like, I'm the super luckiest person in the world. They're not going to miss a dime on the ground.
That's right.
They don't miss a dollar. That sign goes by. They're like, I won the lottery. Oh my God, it's amazing. Right? They don't miss anything. What is that? That's just psychology. All they're doing is it's the energy that they're putting out, right, is going out, and they're recognizing and finding what they're looking for. And so that's harmonization, right? They're just harmonizing with what they're looking for. So then if energy relates in one of three ways, it either harmonizes, which is what we're talking about when we're manifesting, or it clashes against or resists, which is what happens when people fight or disagree or misunderstand each other. It's also, we can look at it like when you've got a dog who has like a rope, and the dog is pulling on it and you're pulling on it. And the dog's like, and you're pulling and pulling, and you're pulling and pulling. There's this resistance, right? It's a form of clashing. The dog wants to go that way. You want to go this way. Now it's playing, but there's still this energy is going in different directions, right?
Yes.
So there's this form of clashing or resistance that happens sometimes within energy, usually between people, okay? Or within a person when they say, gosh, this is what I want, but this is how I really believe about myself. I really wish that I could have, but it's never going to happen. This is a clashing. Okay, we could even argue that it's the third level, which is neutralizing. Okay, neutralizing is like noise cancellation headphones, and so it depends on the amount of energy units or energy points that you're putting out, or what you're saying versus what you're really putting out. That creates a neutralization. If you have more negative, then that's level 2, which is the clashing or resistance. So you're going to get that also. You're never not manifesting. That's the amazing thing. We're always manifesting. You are never not manifesting. Everything that you're putting out is creating some kind of reaction or ripple that's going to come back to you, right? If you look in the Christian Bible, it says you sow what you reap, right? If you look at Hinduism and Buddhism, they talk about karma. The word means action. And so that means what action you do will eventually come back to you. If you look at Chief Seattle of the Northwestern Indian tribes, he said, what you do to the web, you do to yourself, meaning that everything in the universe is connected. And I've seen this. Everything is connected. So the energy, the life, the intention that you put out ripples out across this web of life and eventually comes back and reconnects with you. This is manifesting. You are never not manifesting. The question is, what are you manifesting? Positive joy or fears, worries, and doubts? It's 100% up to you.
Yes. So what you feel is more important than what you say?
Yes, but what is the dominant force, right? What I'm saying, am I putting more life into what I'm saying, or am I putting more life into how I'm feeling? But what happens when you align both of those, right? Where one, they're not neutralizing each other or canceling each other out or clashing against each other. But what if you say, oh no, I'm a total manifester. Everybody manifests all the time. I'm an amazing manifester. I get exactly what I want because I know how to get that, and I believe it's coming to me, and I'm open and receptive. The number one most important thing in manifesting is gratitude, the sense of gratitude. And really, the truth is that it's gratitude because gratitude creates the sense of openness. Manifesting, if I can explain manifesting using a sexual metaphor, which is kind of weird, but I like it. Woo! Don't watch, Mom. So, and you guys, everybody, I'm moving kind of funny because that's just like I don't have any physical strength. Like, look here, I'll show you. Look how skinny I am. So, right, super duper skinny, no real muscle. And I have to use 2 hands to lift. So that's why I move all funny, because I have to use my core to get my arms into place. So if we look at manifesting as a sexual metaphor, right, the penis is designed for thrusting and pushing out. The vagina is designed to be open and receptive. So when you want something and you see the universe and you say, hey, this is what I want, and what you're doing is basically you're thrusting into the universe, the energy, like, this is what I want. This is what I'm ready for. This is what I would like to have. And so when you do that with energy and intention, you're like, and I believe it's going to happen. What you do, that belief that it's going to happen is almost the semen. It's the sperm that that impregnates the universe with what it is that you want. So
Mm.
your desire, right? Your intention, what it is that you say you want is the penis, but the intention, the emotion behind it, the enthusiasm, the belief behind it is the semen that inseminates, that impregnates the universe with what it is
Mm.
that you want. And then your job after that is to say, I know it's coming. Pardon the pun. I know it's coming. I'm open and receptive, right? And when I'm open and receptive, then in that moment, I become like the vagina. I receive, and the universe becomes like the penis. So initially, my intention, my pushing out, my desire, that is acting as the penis while the universe acts as the vagina. And
Mm.
then it rotates and switches, it transforms the universe. Then when we open up, the universe then pours into us. So the universe then inseminates our life with what it is that we asked for, right?
Wow. I have
And
never heard it explained that way before.
it's the whole
Wow.
world is
But it
about
makes sense.
sensuality and sexuality.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I find that, like, just to give a clear cut example, to be
Sure.
specific, like there's people that say they want a relationship and they want to get married, and
Mhm.
yet they never attract that person that is able to commit. So they say they want it, but then they're always without. And
Why?
because their thoughts are not in line with what they say that they want.
It probably goes back deeper than that. It probably goes back to their belief system about
Mm.
whether or not they're valuable and good enough. And even
Mhm.
before their belief system, it probably goes back to a meaning that they assigned to a situation or a conversation that happened when they were younger. And then they assign a meaning. And then once they assign that meaning, then all of a sudden they take on a belief. And that belief dictates, the meaning anchors them to say, this is the truth, right?
Mm.
And then the
Mhm.
belief is that truth that they carry into the future. And so if you want to change that, you have to go back, identify the situation, change the meaning. And then once you change the meaning, you change the belief. And once you change the belief, everything after that starts to change. And if you
Wow.
go through all of these situations associated with relationships, all of a sudden, or any particular topic or category, all of a
Mhm.
sudden your whole being in this area starts to lighten. And you start to go, wow, all of that didn't mean all of that. That's not how
Mm.
I believe anymore. I now believe that this is possible. All that meant something different. Wow, that's crazy. I'm
Mm.
so glad I made that change.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah. And so that's one of the processes of releasing. And if you don't open up, if you can't release, you can't open up. Right.
That's right.
And I mean,
Yes.
look at the woman's sexual organs, right? The vagina, when she doesn't want to be intimate, all those muscles tighten down. Right?
Mhm.
But when she's ready to receive her partner, she opens up.
Mhm.
It's the same with us. If we
Mhm.
don't believe it's going to happen, no matter if every single human being on the face of the planet says how much they love you and respect you. I mean, look at Robin Williams, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Probably 85% of the world loved Robin Williams. And when they love Robin Williams, it doesn't matter how much, and this is billions of people around the
Mhm.
planet, and yet Robin Williams didn't love Robin Williams,
That's right.
right? And
Yeah.
so he wasn't open to that. And so once you become open to that, your life changes. You know,
Mm.
Einstein said, he said, nothing changes until something moves. And he's right.
Mm.
Nothing changes physically. And we can talk even within the energy world, right? Energetically, like, and I'm not talking even woo-woo spiritual energetically, just energy, just basic fundamental building blocks of what makes our world, right?
Mhm.
Nothing changes until something moves. When energy moves, when something moves, everything else around it changes. I
Yeah.
like to say from a spiritual place, nothing changes until you become still, deeply,
Mm.
profoundly still. When you become still, everything changes. Just like you and I were talking about meditation, when you come out of your meditation, everything is
Yeah.
clearer and sharper and more aligned. And for 2 or 3 minutes, you have this feeling that you're connected with everything because you
Mhm.
still, when you become still, everything changes. And so this relates to manifesting in terms of, if I go, well, this is what I want, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I really want this,
Mm.
but it's not going to happen. Oh, this is the way I would love to live my life, but I'm not good enough. You're neutralizing. And when you
Okay.
neutralize, all of a sudden, there's no energy, right? And
Yeah.
you want this energy. And when you're moving with something, when you're in harmony, it's almost as if there's no movement. It's just flow. It's like
Mm.
floating down the river and you're moving,
Mhm.
but not having to do anything.
That's right.
Stillness is profound Because in stillness, there is no doubt. There is only knowing. And knowing is a critical component to being able to manifest. If you don't know that it can happen, if you don't actually believe it can happen, then it probably won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's one of my 5 steps. You have to know, you have to believe that it can and it does and it will happen. You are never not manifesting. The question is, what are you manifesting? What do you want to manifest?
That's right. I know that you have specific steps to manifesting, and that's one of them. Can you go over the 5 steps?
Sure, absolutely. The number 1 step, and by number 1, I don't mean number 1 like most important, okay? But I mean number 1 in terms of the first thing you have to do is you have to identify and see what it is that you want, okay? Now, look, manifesting is like a muscle, and people's minds get tired really quickly. Their brains get exhausted really quickly. So start soft, start easy. Don't like think about all the details and make it difficult. Just say, oh, I would love to have this. This is what I'd like to have. Right. But then see it in your mind. So identify what you want. Step 1, identify what you want and see what you want. Right. So once you identify what you want and you see what you want, then if you have that energy to start to make it more clear and start to really start to paint out some of the details, that's fantastic. That's where you're going to eventually go, is making it so perfect, and you're seeing colors and shapes and sounds and people and all of that. And when you do that, your mind doesn't know the difference between real life and imagination. So it puts you in the state of energy, right? So you have to be able to see it first. And then the problem is people can say, oh, well, I can imagine it, but I don't believe it. Step 2 is you have to know, you have to believe that it's possible. Okay. You have to believe that it's possible. You have to believe that there is a possibility that you can make a change. And look, if you don't want to believe in energy, that's totally fine. If you don't want to believe in manifesting, that's totally fine. But it's really hard to deny that if you set your mind on something, you say, that's what I want. And then you go, okay, I believe that I can get that. It's going to cause you to take different physical action. Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay. And it should anyway. I mean, it should. And if it doesn't, well, then you don't actually believe or accept that it can happen, or you've got something else going on inside of you that's stopping you from taking action. You know, some kind of internal resistance. I don't believe I'm good enough. I don't deserve it. I don't want to put forth the effort, whatever it is that you've got going on, but that's a precursor. Okay. So anyway, step number 1, identify what you want and see it. Okay. And the more detail you see it in, and the more color and shapes and sounds and bringing in all of your senses, so you're actually living it, that is a remarkable start, because you're laying the foundation. And then once you do that, you have to be able to accept, and you can switch these. It doesn't matter. You can switch these. You have to believe and accept that actually things can come my way.
Okay. That's hard. A lot of people, I think, struggle with that. Really believing. Yeah. Not just saying I believe, but really believing it.
So what if we just practice accepting? And what if we just make it really simple? And which leads me into the 3rd step, which is your physical feeling. So if you did experience what it is that you wanted, and you're like, okay, I'm going to make an effort to accept it, but accepting is going to be like, I'm literally passing through it really quickly to get to step 3, which is physically feeling it. Right? So like physically feeling, not emotionally yet, physically, like what would I physically feel like? And I don't care. You can mix number 3 and number 4. You could talk about the emotional feeling first. It doesn't matter, because this is math. This is addition. And you can add all the numbers in any way you want, and the eventual outcome is the same number.
Right.
Okay. So you can mix and match these however you want. So don't get tied down to the order of these things. So going from seeing what you want and saying, okay, you know what, I accept that there's a possibility here that it can happen. So then what would I physically feel like if that were happening? Right? Well, oh my God, my body would relax and my chest would open up and I'd be able to breathe. So immediately what happens is you start to accept, you relax. When you relax, there's a space and an openness there, right? There's not that tension and that tightness that I talked about before. Like when the vagina tightens, it doesn't want anything in, but when it's receptive, it opens up, it relaxes and is receptive. Same with our chest. Our physical chest will tighten and it resists our ability to breathe. Our minds shut down, our muscles, our fists, our hands turn into fists. So we tighten. So if we go, oh, well, this is possible, then how would I feel if I had that? Physically, what would I feel like? Oh, well, I'd lift my head and notice my shoulders are kind of bouncing. I'd feel lighter. And all of a sudden I feel like I could breathe. okay, and I would feel like lighter in my step. And how would I walk if I had that? And okay, so physically, like standing like I would stand and walk like I would walk, and look at my face is even starting to smile, right? Because that's part of my physicality. Like physically, what would
Right.
I physically feel? I would physically feel the muscles that create a smile on my face, right? And there would be this lightness and this ease in me, and I would physically have this feeling. Now, emotionally, then what I would feel, level 4, right? Level 4 is emotion. I don't care if you switch these, it doesn't matter. It's math. It's all addition, right? So emotionally, how would I feel? I would feel joyful. I would feel laughter. I would feel grateful. I would feel generous. I would feel enthusiastic. I would feel enlivened. I would feel faithful. I would feel courageous. I would feel trusting. I would feel relaxed and no stress. I would feel peaceful. Whatever it is that you would feel that.
Mhm.
The human mind is remarkable in the sense that you don't actually have to have the situation or the event or the occurrence, right, or the
Right.
thing for you to actually feel it. You
Mhm.
can actually manifest
Mhm.
those feelings by
Yes.
changing your thinking, by changing your beliefs, by changing your body, by consciously saying, no, I want to feel this. You can consciously manifest those feelings. And the only thing you want anything in the world is because you're after the feeling.
Mhm.
The only thing you
Yeah.
want, the reason you want money is because of the feeling that it's going to give you. The reason that you want love is because of the feeling it's going to give you. The reason you want a vacation is because the feeling it's going to give you. Right?
Mhm.
It's always about the feeling. So if you can manifest that feeling and physically you're in that state, like you see it, like I have a place in San Diego that I can see right now with my eyes open. It's one of my favorite places in San Diego. And I will be moving to San Diego before the end of the year. That is
Oh,
my
nice.
manifestation, and that is my commitment. And I can
Mhm.
see the harbor right now as I'm looking straight in the camera. I see the boats. I see San Diego behind it, and it's this place right when they get out of the airport. I'm leaving the airport, and you can see the harbor and the marina, and you can see the city behind it. I love it. It's one of my favorite
Yeah,
places.
San Diego is beautiful.
It's one of my favorite places. So I can see it right now, right? And then my chest opens up and my shoulders relax and my face starts to smile and there's an emotional peace that comes across me and there's an openness and acceptance. And then level 5 is there's a knowing. I
Mm.
know that it can happen. I know that it will happen. Okay.
Mhm.
This is really important. So you want to see it, identify what you want and see it. You want
Mhm.
to accept it or believe that it's possible. Okay. Possible, use the word possible. I accept that there might be a possibility that it could maybe happen. Okay,
Mhm.
great. Thank God. Let's start there.
That's
I'll start
easier
with,
to do, to accept that there's a possibility.
yes. Let's start with the tiny and make it big, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then choose the physical feeling. Like literally, how would I feel? I would feel like this, right? I would feel
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm living in San Diego. I'm living large. It's awesome, right? And then there's this also the emotional feeling of how would I feel? I'd feel enlivened. I'd feel in love. I would feel like joyful. I would feel relaxed. I would feel peaceful. I would feel generous. I would feel easy, right?
Yeah.
This sense of ease. And then this knowing is number 5. I know that it happens. I know that it can happen. I know
Mhm.
that I'm never not manifesting. I know that I'm always manifesting. I
Mhm.
just know that it will happen. It's in the knowing that changes everything.
Mm.
Because when you go to a restaurant and you order food, right? Once you order food, you go back to the conversation. You don't sit there
Mhm.
and think, God, am I going to get my food? I wonder if they're actually going to put the order in. Do you think maybe they quit? Do you think maybe they went on break and they forgot to like put in the order? Maybe they didn't like me. I don't think it's going to come. I don't know if I really deserve it. Maybe, I mean, I've got money to pay for it, but I don't know if I really, am I going to be able to like, are they going to, we don't do that.
No, we
Put in
don't.
our order and we just know that it's going
Mhm.
to come.
That's right. That's a
And
great
then what?
example.
It
Mhm.
always comes. And
Mhm.
when even when it doesn't, right? You talk to the waiter or you talk to the owner, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let us take care of that. And sometimes it comes for free,
Mhm.
right?
That's great.
Yeah. And so it's the same. Everything in the universe is exactly the same. And the universe is built on contrast. When you are suffering, it gives you a chance to say, wow, I don't like this. I want
Mhm.
something different.
Mhm.
So um, contrast to choice, choice to change. So if everything in the universe is built on a contrast, a black and a white, and up and down and in and out, right?
Mhm.
A love versus apathy, not love versus hate, because hate is a motivator and
Mhm.
love is a motivator, right?
Mhm.
But apathy, there's no motivation.
That's right.
Okay. And so everything is built on this contrast. And so
Yeah.
if you go, wow, this doesn't feel good,
Mhm.
what do I want instead? I make a different choice. When I make a different choice to have or feel or experience or change my body, change my mind, change my thinking, change my beliefs, change my emotions, change my location, change my geography, change my tone of voice. When I make a choice to change, everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's power.
It is,
You
yeah.
have the power. I have the power. The audience has the power. The question is,
Within. Mm-hmm.
can I get an amen up in her? Can I get a hallelujah? Right? This is beautiful. We have our choice to make our life the way we want it, but we've been living in a way often that we feel subject to what's going on. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be reactionary. Reaction is a slave action. You're not having a choice. Make a choice. You have a choice. If you choose to respond, that means there are options. When you recognize there are options, you have a choice. When you have a choice, you have freedom.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about.
Yes.
Right?
Beautiful. Yeah.
Right.
So what stops people from manifesting? Those are the steps, and then what stops them?
So what stops people from manifesting very typically is old belief systems that they don't deserve. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I haven't put forth the effort. Um, Whatever the negative self-talk is, that
Mm-hmm.
starts to neutralize or create a clash or a resistance or a contrast to what it is that they say that they want. So the truth is, actually, I should answer the question differently. Your question was, what stops people from manifesting? The answer, nothing. Nothing stops people from manifesting because
Mm.
you're always manifesting. You are never not manifesting. You are
Okay.
always manifesting. The question is, what are you manifesting? Probably you're manifesting things you don't want, which
Mm-hmm.
is scarcity, which is fear, which is difficult relationships, which is solitude or singleness instead of having a partner,
Mm-hmm.
um, or struggles with your relationships with family or friends, difficult job. You're manifesting those things by the
Mm-hmm.
way you're feeling, the way you're thinking, the way you're talking, the way you're believing, and the actions that you're taking. All of that leads to what you're creating. If you want something different, something has to change.
Mm-hmm.
You are never not manifesting. Nothing stops manifesting. But what stops what I say I want compared to what I feel
Mm-hmm.
is that sense of feeling, that sense of worthiness. Well, I really want this, but I don't feel like I deserve it. I really want this, but I don't think I'm good enough. I really want this, but I don't know how. Right? And
Right.
you lean on the I don't know how, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. And that carries, remember when I talked about energy units?
Mm-hmm.
That it carries more energy units. So if I say I really want I don't know, I really want a new car. It's a funny thing for me to choose because I can't walk. I can't drive. Or not, at least not right now. So if I say I really want a new car, right? But I don't really have the money for it, right? I want a new car. Maybe I put out like, let's say like 20 energy points, right? But
Mm-hmm.
80%, I'm like, but I don't, but I don't really have the money, and that's a big expense, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
really have a good enough job, and right, and all of this negative, like you've got more energy units of negative than you do of
Mm-hmm.
positive. So what do you
Right.
get? You get whatever has the most energy units.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. So we have to really kind of just start tuning in and creating more positive feelings towards what we want.
We don't have to.
We don't
We
have
get
to.
to.
We
We
get to.
get to.
Okay.
It's
We
an
get to.
absolutely profound difference between get to and got to, right?
Okay.
This is important because inside of our brains, no human being likes to be a slave. No human
Right.
being likes to be told what to do,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants that freedom. Even if I'm being kind of a little risque, even in dom and submissive sexual relationships, there's still a secret like safety word, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even then they have, the submissive person has the ability to say, okay, I'm done. This isn't good for me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
So no human being likes to not have control because the human mind is wired to protect itself and keep itself alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So if you say you have to do this, you've got to do this, you must do this, right? Or somebody says that to you, you're like, don't tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me.
Right.
But it's the same thing inside of your brain, right? If
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I've got to do this, I have to do this, I need to do that, I must do that. How many of us have a pile of paper that we haven't cleaned up because we say, I've got to do that, I need to do that, I have to do that, I must do that. And
Mm-hmm.
part of our brain goes, don't tell me what to do, I'm not doing it. And so all
That's
of a sudden
right.
we're tired, we're resistant, we find distraction, we're sad,
Mm-hmm.
we're overwhelmed, all of this stuff. But if I say, hey, you know what? I get to take care of that. And the moment I say get to, I open up. because I have an
Yes.
option. I have a choice. I get the choice to. I get the opportunity to. I have the opportunity. It's nice, right?
I love that. I love that little shift. It's powerful.
Yeah.
I'm going to start saying I get to instead of I have to, I need to.
Yes, yes, yes. And I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
anybody like, I know that we're going to talk about a free gift, right?
We are. Yes. That's coming up next.
Okay. Well, whatever order, I'll even add to the free gift. I co-authored a book several years ago, and my chapter was called the Get To versus Got To principle. For
Oh.
anybody who signs up with me, I will send them that signs up for a one-on-one talk with me. I will also send them a free copy, or not the physical book, but a free PDF version of that book, and read whatever chapters you want. But my chapter is chapter number 3, the Get To versus Got To principle. That's the one that you should read.
Okay. Nice.
So I'll just add to it. I'll just make it richer.
Yeah. I love that. So what is your free gift besides the PDF version of the book?
Free gift is, how many of you in your life are like, okay, that's great. I get a free PDF of somebody's book. I get, some audios of their meditations, and that's wonderful. But how many are like, but I mean, that's wonderful, but I still have my own issues. I still have stuff that's going on. Like, I'm still struggling with my own stuff. I just wish I could talk to somebody. That's me. I give 20-minute free calls. So we laser focus. You come saying, here's my problem. We laser focus what the issue is, and we get rid of that problem. Because remember, I strive for results. And so we get rid of that problem. So you all of a sudden are able to say, wow, I do feel lighter. I do feel freer. I do feel more confident. I do actually feel love. I do feel worthy. I do feel generous. Oh my God, that is the problem in my relationship. So we get results in those 20 minutes. Now, it's not going to change your life. It could change your life in some really profound ways. It could change your life in some subtle ways. But let's start with somewhere, right? And so my gift is a free 20-minute intensive call where you show up and I help you identify the results that are going to change that area of your life.
Wonderful. I love it. And I hope everybody takes advantage of that free gift. The link for PJ's gift will be on the speaker's page and in the email, so you can access it.
Excellent.
Great. Thank you, PJ. It's been so wonderful talking to you. And I felt my energy going up as we were talking.
Yes. Isn't that what it's about? Like, if you don't feel your energy going up, I did it wrong.
That's right.
And so did you.
Yeah.
I can't control you. I can be somewhat contagious, but you or anybody watching has to make the choice to say, I'm going to accept that. I'm going to focus on that energy. I'm going to accept that and grow into that. That feels good. That's the contrast. This feels good. This doesn't feel good.
That's right.
That's what I want. It's a choice.
I want the good.
Amen. Me too.
Awesome. Thank you, PJ. This has been wonderful. And
thank
you, audience, for tuning in to Unlock Your Hidden Potential. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
I love you all. Bye.
Bye.